Good morning. It's Pastor Sandy coming to you with a time of refreshing. Just want to come to you today, and what was laid on my heart, I believe, today was about tell your story. We all have a story to tell. And sometimes that story, though, will help somebody else. Because when you're telling the story of what you've been through, where God took you from where you were to where you are now, that brings hope to other people. So I want to encourage you today, that maybe there's something in life that God has brought you through. Maybe there's something, where God has showed you more and showed you better, that maybe you would like to share that with others. Because let me tell you what that'll do. When you tell your story of what God has done, then it brings glory to Him. You're bragging on God about His goodness. And even though maybe you've been through something, that's the key. You came through it, you're on the other side. People need to have some hope. They need to have some light in this dark world. And also the other thing that we do when we share and tell our story, we're honoring God. We're giving God the glory. So don't think you don't have a story to tell, because there's something all of us have had in our lives that maybe we've struggled with, or we've gone through, or we got attacked with, but then we trusted God and God brought us out on the other side. So I want to encourage you today to remind you, see, we can complain and remain, or we can give praise and be raised. Look at what you've been through. Look at where you are now and where God brought you through. See, sometimes we forget those stones of remembrance. We forget about what God delivered us from, what God delivered us through. We forget. Sometimes we need to sit down and go back and remember. Oh my goodness. Oh, God brought me through that. God delivered me. God showed me a better way. God healed me. God made me whole. God helped me. God gave me peace. God was my comforter. God was my joy. Let's go back and remember those things of where you were and what God is doing for you now. And remember, too, that where you are is not where you're staying. Remember, the biggest fight and the biggest pressure comes right before the breakthrough, right before the turnaround. So don't get stuck with, well, I've been through this, or maybe you're going through something now. Look up to God, give praise to Him, and say, God, I trust you, because I'm going to get through this. And then I'm going to go tell the story. I'm going to go tell the story of God's goodness in my life. I'm going to go tell the story of how God delivered me and brought me through, or how God's helping me day by day and step by step. They need to hear hope. They need to see the light. And you and I are the light. You and I got to go tell the story of God's goodness and His love. So I encourage you today, please, please, if you don't know God in this way, come to know Him today. Trust Him. And maybe you've kind of forgotten what God has brought you through. Go back to those stones of remembrance and remember all that God has done, all that God is doing, and all that He's going to do. Go tell your story. Until next time, keep it simple, sister, and I bless my brothers.